Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Action continuing here at the MLG Finals, live from New Orleans. Benson on the analyst desk, joined by good friends TP and Chance for the next upcoming game. Of course, Denial versus Elevate. What a game this is going to be. Denial yet to drop a map so far. And Elevate in form, already knocked out FaZe. A lot of people expect to see in the grand final. Chance, what are your thoughts going into this one?
It's really tough to say what to think. I don't know who's going to win. I think on paper, Elevate definitely has a shot, but the way Denial's been playing, it's tough to bet against them. So I think Denial's going to edge him out, but Elevate also just beat FaZe. So maybe they're going to have momentum. Again, like after you do that, you got to have all the confidence in the world. I have to imagine, like you could obviously get a better perspective than I can, but still, if I beat FaZe, I'm flying high. Like, it's good.
It's hard to make this prediction for two things. What do you bet against?
Not huge.
A perfect map count from Denial, or a team that just took out the best team in the game. They're going to get so much confidence from that win in Elevate, and it's going to be tough to say, does Elevate have that sub-pressure to take out Denial, or is Denial's sub-pressure going to be better?
Honestly, a lot of this, it depends on the maps.
Definitely true.
It all depends on which maps we're going to see in this best of 7, and I would love if my piece of paper was there with the maps, but it isn't. So I have absolutely zero input on what maps are going to be played, so that's always great. But in all seriousness, that is really what I think it's going to be. I think Compound Hardpoint is going to be the first map, if Mr. X just whispered that correctly in my ear. Then a Detroit Search and Destroy will be map number 2. Thank you very much, Matt. Really appreciate it. Biolab Uplink, map number 3. I'm like a genius. This is great. And then a Drift Hardpoint, I believe, as map number 4. Recovery Search and Destroy. Comeback Uplink will be in there as well. And then a Solar Search and Destroy. TP, they're the maps. Does that change anything?
DLC rotation a little bit with those hard points.
Thanks, Matt. Love you, man.
I have to say, with the traditional style of hard points the new DLC maps are that were added in, I think I give the edge in hard points to Denial. I think it's going to be largely up to that Slasher and Octane battle on Drift, though. Who's going to be able to get to those top power positions more quickly? I think I'm going to give the edge to Denial. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Chance, would you change that or stick with it?
Octane Slasher, I think it's relatively close. I don't think we're going to see too vast of a difference. TJ Halley's been playing like a monster. Yes. He's going up against Hugh.
Two young guys. That's
what I'm saying. It's like Hugh and Temp on the same team forever. So Denial's main thing, they've always been able to outslay their opponent. When they were playing with replays, they were having issues about converting those wins, though. So far, we're not seeing when they picked up Classic, they've been looking fantastic. Now they're outslaying their opponent, and they're destroying everyone. So I think Denial's looking good.
I feel like the roster change that was made was perfectly built for a team like Elevate. They needed more pressure. They needed just more gunfights happening across the map, and Classic is the perfect guy to do that for them. So that's why I feel like the answer is there with Classic being that new fourth.
What's really exciting for me, think about the 3 best under 18 players. Guess what?
They're all in this
game. They're all in this game. And knowing next year about how COD Champs, etc. is going to be run, 18 plus, this is their world championship. This is what they have to play for, essentially. A huge prize pool. These are 3 of the hungriest players you're going to see, and they're going toe-to-toe against each other. Hardpoint Compound, map number 1, over to the casters, Maven and Mr. X.
Thank you, Benson, Teep, and Chance. Excellent analysis as always. Let's get underway here with game number 1, kicking things off with the young gun Hook, as he is going to open up with a 2-piece, already clearing the hard point.
I am excited for this series.
Me
I
too.
have not seen Denial play all weekend long. Obviously, the 16-0 map count.
That's a pretty good map count. We're talking like 2001 Lakers right now.
Right. I haven't seen them play all weekend, but I'm excited. I felt like Classic, one of the more underrated players in all Call of Duty. We talked about it a little bit before, me and you, off camera pre-game, but every tournament he seems to just make it to Sunday to the Final Four. Falls a little bit short, but I agree with Teep. Perfect addition to this Denial squad.
Now, I want you to walk me through. I was watching you. I found the sheet that had our best of 7 map counts as you were relaying it there so kindly to Benson. But I saw you jot down who was going to take the maps. You started to break it down. I'd like you to tell me what team you marked down at 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I think Denial keeps the streak going. I think this map, sub-dominant map, plays right into Hook, Temp, and Classic strength. Then you go over to the next map. It's going to be a Detroit S&D. I like Denial's just team composition, Search and Destroy. Nicky D brings a lot in that game mode. Biolab Uplink, game mode that's pretty fast-paced. I think you can slow down. These first 4 maps don't really favor Octane at all. Like, Octane's the big player that Elevate added.
Yeah, you want like a Parliament or a Retreat.
A Retreat, you want something a little bit longer, a little bit slower. And these first maps don't really stack to his strengths. But right now, Elevate with a 10-point lead, growing it more now. It's going to be 3rd and 4th hill that really matter on this map, though.
All right, well, we're getting close to that. 20 seconds left until we're going to kick it into our third hard point. Now, you mentioned that, why they're so important. Let's start with the third hard point. Why is that where it kicks off? Why is that where a team can really start to pull away?
You can spawn the opposing team out so far away, and then they have just that one alley with the rocks that they have to go through to get control of it. TJ Halley picks up 2 big kills on the hard point. On rotation, though, it's going to make it a 2v2 for this hill coming up. Saint's going to pick up 1 in the hard point as a teammate, killing players out on rocks with the AR, and it's going to be Elevate able to control this. Saints picks up another 2, currently on a 5 streak as Elevate opens up this lead. But what's important about the third hill, obviously you can take a ton of time here.
Yeah.
You have the 4th hill. You have the spawns for the 4th hill as well. So this, you really get 2
really
hills
easy
for
transition
1
to
here.
get on to the 4th. And, you know, a guy I'm going to be watching a lot, at least from the side of Elevate, 13-9 right now with Saints, and I talked about it there during the preliminary. You know, a lot of us always talk about what a great Slayer is, how consistent he is, but he hasn't really been getting great finishes in this game. Didn't get great finishes in Ghost, but towards the end of games, for whatever reason, he finds himself on a team, they throw it together, they just need a talented guy, and he comes up clutch. I really see this Elevate team making a deep run.
Saints is a player, he's a Slayer that you can plug into any lineup,
yeah,
right? He's going to be consistent. He's really good at baiting his teammates, not exactly that great at switching, but, you know, he puts up numbers. That's the type of player that Elevate needed. They need him to play consistent. It's taking him a little bit of time to adjust to this lineup as we go through that 4th hill.
Well, you can see, look at the 2 players from the Nile.
Yeah.
You know, you wonder, why are they so close to the hard point? It's already rotated, because you mentioned you're still going to want to hold that spawn. That is where you're going to want to be spawning from to try and push this 4th hard point. It's going to be early control here to Elevate. Classic comes flying in, able to get 1 before he's going to fall. Nate comes in from Octane, able to answer back there with Haley, pick up a couple off of Denial. But let's watch Hook, again, the young gun, the young phenom. He's been playing so well throughout the year. His movement, absolutely unreal. He gets 1, tries to get up and get 2. Look at the bottom left of your screen. It is all Denial on the kill feed. They're ripping and roaring, able to get a break.
And it's interesting, they didn't practice really that much at all, admittedly, by Slasher. Coming to this event, he had school, other commitments from other players, didn't really put too much time in. But sometimes it ends up working in your favor. I'm not saying
we're 11 months into the game.
A lot.
You don't need to grind it every day. It's much, I think.
AW is a lot of teamwork and gun skill. This team has the gun skill. All I have to do is just switch for each other, and it's really just common teamwork. It's not too complicated. You just got to be able to bait and switch for your teammates, pick up those big kills. We're going to go to this 5th hill now. Elevate going to control it early. An interesting storyline. Could Denial win COD Champs and then Worlds? You know, the 2 world events this year would be kind of crazy. Different rosters.
2 biggest ones of the year, obviously completely different rosters. But, you know, you talk about the need for other orgs to pop up in Call of Duty, other to get more brand recognition. When you think about Call of Duty, really what pops to mind right away, you talk Optic Gaming, you talk FaZe. And even though Denial has won COD Champs, I still don't think it's there from a recognition standpoint. The more big wins they get, absolutely the better to put them there at the top of the pinnacle with these teams.
Elevate's had a phenomenal year as well.
Yeah,
I mean, they've been in the top, you know, 4 to 5 in almost every tournament. Strong performances regardless of the roster, and right now they have the lead here early against Denial. You look Classic, the new addition, 11-20. At this point in the game, not playing too well. Gonna need him to step up in the second half. And then on the other side, for Elevate, you're getting a good game out of Saints here early. Octane 21-15, really, you know, adjusting his play style with the bow. You thought maybe after that loss to Envy in pool play, was he rattled a little bit? No, his confidence, you know, going against his former team. A lot of talk back and forth between him and Cap. Is that going to make him waver through the rest of this tournament? Has not shown here at all.
That's what'll be funny to watch. You know, Elevate obviously been playing very well. Envy rolling too, but Envy just historically lately they've done well on Saturday, Sunday. Well, I should say they do well on Friday, Saturday. Late Saturday, sometimes Sunday, they start to really falter. It's like they're in winner's bracket, then bang, bang, they're out. Will Elevate be able to handle that loss a little bit more effectively than Envy when it gets to that point? Eventually, one of these teams, I think, are going to lose here, but we'll see. They might be able to pull the whole way.
You know, Denial creeping back into this one. Maven Hook on a 4 streak. 18 seconds left on this first hard point. Anytime they get here is a huge plus for Denial as we see this split a lot of times. They're putting a lot of pressure on Octane, not letting him getting set up. They're in that middle building, able to shoot directly across, and it looks like they're going to tie this one up going into hill number 2. So all the work that Elevate did in the first half of the game goes for naught as Denial comes back and takes the lead.
There it is, 5-point advantage right now, 3:45 on the clock. Got a fresh hard point here. Let's see how they decide to play this one out. The man that's going to be set up kind of at the edge here is going to be Hook. He's prone, tries to pop up, get some action, and sees some teammates falling around. I'm not really able to get anything done effectively. Slack will be next to him. He's like, hey, I'm just going to push forward, try to pick up a kill. I've got nowhere to go. There's grenades flying behind me. There's 3 in front of me. At least able to get a kill there before
Look at
falling.
how far TJ spawns from the hill. And look at the route that he has to run to get anywhere near it. Hook able to cut him off right away. And Denial starting to click here. Maven, nope, they haven't talked about it either. Classic going up against his former team. He leaves Elevate for Denial to open up that spot for Octane. Obviously, both teams very successful since the move just last month. Now going into the third hill, though, here in the second rotation, it's going to be a big gun battle over on the bottom side of your mini-map. You have Slasher for Denial over there early. He's going to pick up one. There's still one player lingering in the back for Elevate. It's going to be TJ. Going to pick up one, but the hill not in control to Elevate. And I like the decision by TJ.
There's 6 people within the hill here. They're flying. They're standing on each other's head. There's a team kill as well, Matt.
I love the decision by TJ there. A lot of players would have just pushed into the hill, tried to fight for it right away. Stayed there, played for the spawn for his team as soon as they started to pop up. Then he challenged it, and now Elevate takes it back. And for a player, you know, of his age to be able to make that smart of a play mid-game, you can just see the talent that these young guys have.
Well, he is playing out of his mind right now. Saints getting a 2-piece, so he's on a 4 streak. I was going to switch over. He got to 5 right before he fell, doing a great job covering his teammates here. Octane's in, trying to reload, going to fall. That is Hook busting in with the 3-piece. He's 29 and 29, leading all players right now, I believe, in engagements on his side. Just doing a really good job effectively pushing the hardpoint. He's got 8 captures to go with that, only trailing to Saints with 9.
And I don't want to say Denial gave this away, but they get to this hardpoint first, and then Elevate with that smart play by TJ, able to just control these spawns, able to break it right away, and now they're going to be able to control the 4th hill as well. Could this be Denial's first map loss to the tournament? You figured it would happen eventually. This series against Elevate having a very strong first compound hardpoint.
And you got to feel great. Again, I think it was Puckett that mentioned, how could you not feel good? You're coming off a win against the best team. FaZe.
Yes.
You beat them pretty handily. You got to be feeling so strong. But again, 16-0 in map count is Denial. Can they pull together a miracle here in the egg? Because there's 90 seconds left, basically. They're trailing by 40 right now. They've got to get something going. You see them flying. There is still 25 seconds left in this hard point. Can they pick anything up? But it's still time coming in for the members of Elevate. If they can get, what, 5? No, they don't even really need more time. I know it's not technically over. 42 seconds going to the final hard point. That's going to be basically impossible to overcome, right?
It's going to be very difficult for Denial to beat this, Maven. You know, going to have to
rotating up first.
Over now. It's going to be Slack. And what's dangerous about Elevate is that all players can run every type of gun. They can play every type of role. Nobody is going to be out of position. You see Slack pick up one. Now going to challenge the second player. Not able to finish him off. But Elevate with a very strong map number 1 here, Maven. Barring a crazy turn of events
miracle.
here,
they can hold this entire thing. Denial can do it, but this is such an easy hard point, in my opinion, to contest. You see it getting contested there for a second, but Temp able to pick up 2. Still alive right now. What, 28 seconds left to go, trailing by 25. They can't make a mistake. There basically cannot be a contest at this point. They just have to get in,
spawning very far
second.
away at the bottom of your mini-map. If this keeps going on, we may see an impossible comeback here. Denial keep pushing them out. You see how far they are spawning out here, Maven.
I think that's all they needed, and that's just enough to get the contest, and that's going to be it. Wow, what an effort there from Denial, though, to try and bring it back. They're going to fall. Is it going to be 1 point? Don't be 1, be 2 at least.
And those 2 contests.
Shorts.
Woo,
That's the only reason I was like, oh, this has got to be it. They needed 2 contests of like, what, 2-3 seconds is all they needed? What an effort by Denial.
You started to see on the mini-map how far Elevate was spawning out, and it started to get dangerous. Another wave of kills. I don't know which player it was, just jumping down from that middle structure down to the hard point, just ran around those trailers, able to contest it. And Elevate hands Denial their first map loss of the tournament. And how does Denial bounce back from that?
I'm pretty sure they only needed a total of 3 or 4 seconds contested there. But God, did they have to work for it. That was unbelievable.
That was not easy whatsoever.
I didn't want to know how much their KDs were affected just from flying at that hard point over and over. But how will they answer back? You got to think. Honestly, you know, the thing we've been talking about, the biggest thing for this team is how young they are. They have the 2 really young players. How did they react to this? But they're almost veterans at this point.
They really are. They've been playing on Sunday all year long.
At this top level. But game number 2 coming up is going to be Search and Destroy on Detroit. Quick commercial break. We'll be right back and see if Denial can bounce back in this series.